So on our first word problem, the sum is 100, the common difference, D, is 2, and there's 12 terms. Now, so far I haven't even asked you the question. I just stated a bunch of facts. And the question is actually, what is the first term? Now, don't be surprised if it's a decimal. That's legal. It doesn't have to be a nice clean number like 20. So your first step on every hard problem is to figure out what formula is this. Well, it's a sum formula. There's only certain ones that are sums. There's 3 of them. And I never said anything about infinity. That narrows it down to 2 sum formulas. And of the 2 sum formulas, S sub n, both of them start that way. One of them has D in it and one of them doesn't. The one that has D in it is right here. If you started with the n over 2 formula, you're doing it right. Now, you've been told a bunch of stuff. You just have to put it in the right spots. Who can tell me where the hidden but necessary parentheses are?
The fraction.
It's the fraction, right there. Now, if you tried to enter it all on one line without that, your calculator would do it wrong. Now, if you just do that first, that's what parentheses do. If you just do it first, without the parentheses, just take n divided by 2 and do that first, that's fine. That's what parentheses are going to make you do. All right, now let's try to put in all these numbers. And there's usually like 2 of the numbers go in super easy. They're obvious, like common difference is D is 2. That's pretty obvious. The first term, normally we have that. And that's kind of the point of this problem is we don't have that. So then n, that's one of those medium hard ones. But they told us 12, and 12 has to go somewhere. So there's 12 terms, and that's what that is. That's 12. And then S sub n is the sum. That goes here. If you haven't already, solve that equation. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to compare it with the kid next to you.
Can I go?
It is a fraction or a decimal. Next time, don't hit approve on the pass until you ask. I'm going to say yes this time, but next time you got to ask me before you hit approve. It puts too much pressure on the teacher to say sure. Is it possible that the answer could come out negative? It is possible that the answer to this could come out negative. $11 times 2 over here come out to 22. If you didn't have a 22 in your answer, you're probably doing it wrong. Do you guys get 132 in your problem? Good. Six times 22 is where I got the 132. I just did it in my head, so I wanted to check with somebody. What is 32 divided by 12?
32 divided by 12 is approximately 2.6667.
And 2.6667, I'm just going to write 2.67 because I can't go on forever with the sixes. The test will tell you how far to round to. How many of you pulled that off? Raise your hand if you did. All right, good start. Another one of these hardest problems, the word problems. Question? Yes.
Are you allowed to say negative 2.6 repeating the line above it?
Totally yes. Now, just so you know though, negative 2.6 repeating is a perfect answer, but if they said round to 2 decimal places, that's not. So then what you do is you stretch it out a bit, because you know this means repeats, right? And if they said 2 decimal places, which is I think what our next couple tests tell you to round to, then you'd go right here and you'd be considering, should I do this? And then the fact that this is bigger than 5 would tell you to round to like that. So if I say 2 decimal places, don't leave a repeating. You got to go to 2 and stop. Okay, cool. All right. So next kind of hard problem is sigma. This thing that we just did is an adding up a bunch of things, right? Wasn't this one where you added up a bunch of things? You added up 12 things. Now, this would be a really hard sigma problem to write, but I'm going to give you one that should be easier. Here's one where I'm adding up a bunch of things. 7, and then I'm going to subtract 5, makes 2, and then I'm going to subtract 5, makes negative 3. You get what I'm doing here? And I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to subtract 5, and that's going to make negative 8. And I'm going to put a period at the end. That means it doesn't keep going. Can you write the sigma for that? This is one of those problems that would be considered the hard kind at the end, the R3s, where basically if you can do okay on the easy ones, you'll have a C. And then for each extra hard problem you get right, you get another 5%. All right. If you know a couple of the rules about these, it'll make your life a lot better. We use the dice of destiny to call on somebody. There's something we always know about these sigmas. You should always do. Let's see if a random person knows. 4, Addie, dice have chosen you. What do you know about these sigma things that always has to be true? What do you always start with?
I equals 1.
Excellent. Another thing that always has to be. Know anything else that always has to be? Okay, you'll learn something then. There has to be an I here. Because the whole point of the I equals 1 is that you'll stick it in, and that's where you'd stick it in, is right there. Kai, do you know another always thing? It's not like this number is always this. Like the number's always 5 here or whatever. What do you know about that spot right there? It can't be 1. You are absolutely correct. It would probably have to be at least 2. But here's something that maybe you'll learn this. If there's 4 things here, then that's 4. Okay? Because we got to get these, we have to put in 4 different numbers. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. See? So the number of things we have goes here. All right. Next thing that we can know. Would you agree this thing is going down 5 every time?
No.
That has to be in here somewhere. Down 5 means negative 5, right? at least I would try this. Because each time I put in another number, like if when I put in 2, now it's down 10. When I put in 3, it'll be down 15. You see how that kind of works? But wait, I thought when you put the 1 in here, you're supposed to get 7. You are supposed to get 7. So then you got to add something here to make that work. When I put the 1 in, I got to make it equal 7. So right now it equals -5. So what if I put like 8 here? Well, then it would equal 3. I'm getting closer. What if I put like a 10 here? And this is seriously how I would do it. I'd figure out what do I have to add to it to make it work. It needs to equal 7 once I'm done. So who's got it by now? Somebody must have figured it out. What do you add? Yes. 12 is correct. Unfortunately, that's not just a number I can show you. Like, all you got to do is this plus this or something. It's not that easy. You got to think it through. But here's the things I can know. You see the red things I wrote? Always, always. This was how many terms you had. This was the common difference. That's a number you just got to keep guessing and checking until you find it. Now, I can tell that was a tough one for you guys, so maybe we should do one more like that. Because again, something you have to know on the test. All right. I'm not even going to ask. I can tell almost everybody got that one wrong. So let's do one more like that. Let's say it starts at 12, and let's say it goes down 10 each time. Then it'd be down to 2, and then it'd be down to -8. And that's good enough, period. Can you make a sigma for that? Well, if you didn't put I equals 1, you weren't even listening because that's always there. Osberg, what else is an always?
The I on the side of it.
Yep. And then this one's going down 10 each time. Going down 10 again. Did you put the -10 right there? Cool. How many terms did it have? 3, so I put a 3 there. Okay, see how those are all ones I can just like figure out. Now this last one, you have to guess and check until you figure it out. Because when you put 1 in here, you're getting -10. And that's not at all what we want. But if I add something to it, I can make it equal 12. Who's got that number? Raise your hand if you got that number. All right, if you haven't got that number, just think it through. Put a 1 in here and go, I'm getting -10, but I want 12. What should I put here?
I got
22 is correct. Who had 22? Okay, awesome. Next kind. -5. And they do this weird plus in between the terms. 12.5 plus, well, you can tell it's a sum because they keep putting plus. -31.25. ... That means it's going to keep going, so it's not the infinity thing. Now, I haven't even asked you a question yet. Here's the question. S sub 10. That means sum of the first 10 terms. Now, because you got some that are positive and some that are negative, I mean, just adding up the first 3, you're going to get a big negative number. So don't be surprised if you add them all up and it comes up to a negative number. It's going to be pretty normal. So, Ford, you've got formula, right? I mean, that's what we do every time. Try to find the formula. Which formula must it be? Well, it's got to be an S formula, right? How do you pick? There's 3 S formulas.
The geometric.
Is it geometric? That's a good question. How can you tell? How would you test it? How would you take this numbers I gave you and tell me for sure that it was a multiply kind, which is geometric?
You do 12.5 divided by 3.
Very nice. That divided by that. Everybody take your calculator, do that. You'll need that. And that's called a ratio. Did you get negative 2.5 for the R? Okay, awesome. So if R is negative 2.5, that's another clue. Only one of your formulas has an R in it. The S formula that's got an R in it is the geometric kind, and you were right. It's U1 parentheses R to the N minus 1 down low, not up in the power, all over R minus 1, and there's missing parentheses. Don't forget to put them in the right spot. Stick all our numbers in, get your answer. See, they're not that hard if you figure out what formula to use, and if you know how to put it in the calc. So I got to figure out U1. Oh, that's just the first term. That's easy. It's negative 5. I'm putting a parenthesis on this. Anytime you're not sure, put in a parenthesis. Remember my colleague. Put in more parentheses. That's the short answer to these problems. And then R. Oh yeah, it's negative 2.5 again. You can do that in your head if you're decent at math. That's negative 3.5. Then you don't have to even put parentheses around it. But if you want to be extra safe, it would have to have parentheses if you're going to type it all in on one line on the calculator. And last but not least, N is 10. Okay, so negative 5. Negative 2.5 to the 10th. That's going to be huge. Now, the fact that it's in parentheses totally matters. If you don't put the parentheses on this, you'll get a different answer. Because in one case it's negative, in one case it's positive. You need the parentheses. I think if you write down 3 decimal places while you're in the middle of the problem, that's probably fine. It'll tell you on the test what to round to, but that's at the end. And there's what I'm going to type in to get my final answer. If you got a negative number right here, then, oh wait, did I not subtract 1 yet? I didn't subtract 1 yet. Sorry, right there, there's a minus 1. So I got to make that a 5. If I take away 1 from this 6 will go down to a 5. I'm glad I caught that. Okay. final answer, 13622.49. Can anybody verify they got the same thing? That's a lot of you. Okay. Now, that's some of the hardest problems that there is. There's one more really hard problem, and that's the kind that I have said I think is the hardest one. But once you get it, it becomes easy. The second row in the auditorium has 112 seats. The fifth row has 127 seats. What does the 20th row have? I can't stress enough. Draw yourself a little stadium. It helps you to keep organized. And one more gotcha on this is if you don't use a formula, I can't give you the credit. It says right in the problem, must use a formula. So, like I said, on all these problems, you got to figure out what formula applies. And if you realize that you're just adding a certain number of seats each time, it's arithmetic, and we're not adding up all of the seats total, so it's not a sum, then here's your formula. And then all you gotta do is stick the numbers in the right spots. Have you already figured out it was going up by 5 each time? If you're not good at that part, you can go, well, it's got to go up 1, 2, 3 times. And it went up a total of 15 over 3 times. That would be 5 each time. You can play with that number. You don't have to use that formula, but it was going up 5 each time. So that's the difference is 5. And then if it's going up by 5 each time, I could go back 5 off of the 112, and then it would be 107 for my first row. So that's 107. D is 5. And where the heck do I put the 20? The 20th row is N. And N is 20. I already said that, so I should put U sub 20 will be 107 plus 19 times 5. By now you probably know if you did it right, but I want to say the answer, so give me just a second. $202? Who had 202? Okay, awesome. Then that's the end of our practice problems. And now I'm going to give you this practice test. It has a key, which I will post. And I want you to work with a partner. And after you've done the first couple easy ones, I'll say, okay, guys, it's time to move to the hard ones. Because you want to do the hard ones with a partner. You can always do the easy ones at home. Okay? So I'm fine with on the first couple, just kind of warm up your brain, do the easy ones together. But then at a moment in class, I'll say, okay, time to switch to the hard problems. Get them done with the partner. And then if you want extra practice problems, remember I only assigned half of last night's homework. I said all I had to do was evens. Maybe you should go do the rest of them. You don't have to. I'm just saying if you wanted more practice than this practice test, That's what you could do. And that's all I got for the video for today.